subscribe our channel. Stay till the end of the stories for more twist and turn. Comment us about what kind of stories you like to hear. AITA, for calling the cops on my mom, potentially getting her deported? Hi Reddit, throwaway account because I don't want this linked to my main. My mom, 45 female, came to the US from southern Mexico with my dad, 47 male, when they were teens, and a couple years after that they had me 25 male. Because I was born here, I am a citizen, but my parents were still undocumented until they went to DACA and obtained green cards. One of the conditions of it is that you can't be convicted of a crime. My mom has always been a narcissist, making everything about herself. I basically raised myself as she wasn't always there, and my dad worked a ton to provide for us, bless his soul. When I was in high school, I asked my mom to drive me and my girlfriend to senior prom, and she agreed, but backed out on the day of, causing us to be an hour late. When I got pissed, she called me ungrateful and other names, and that I didn't appreciate her. This isn't the only incident, but it's the one I remember most. When I moved away for college, she demanded I called her every day, and when I didn't, she called the cops for a wellness check. After that I went to minimal contact with her. Recently, she called the cops saying that my current girlfriend was abusive. Not true, she never met her, and I got extremely pissed off and told her not to contact me again. Now to the asshole part. I came home from work, essential worker, and my mom was sitting on my couch. I demanded to know how she got in, and she said she let herself in with the key under my doormat. I told her to GTFO pretty harshly, and she told me dad lost his job and they're gonna be homeless soon. I told her that I didn't give a fuck and to get out. After she left, I noticed my expensive watch was missing $150, which my dad got it for me for my graduation, and when I asked her about it, she said that I owe it to her and that I was her son. I demanded she give it back, and she said she already sold it. AITA, if I filed a police report on her for this behavior, there is a very high chance that she would be deported back to Mexico and not have a chance to come back here. Edit, I have informed her that she has 48 hours to get my watch back, or I will go to the police and report her. She started crying and told me that she sold it, and I told her that she needs to get it back ASAP. She tried to say that their financial state is my fault, but I shut her down and told her to get me the watch, then I'm going to file a restraining order. She started saying something, but I hung up. My dad later texted me and said that I hurt my mom, and I told him that she brought this upon herself. Also, I'll try to respond to comments, but I can't get them all. Edit 2, many people are suggesting I cut her off. I've done this before, and she found my new phone and address, along with some social media. I don't want to move because I live in a good part of town for a residence price. I also can't get my locks changed per apartment rules, but I'll try to do it anyway. I've also been informed that my dad may have lied about his immigration status, as they were too old for DACA and it doesn't give green cards. Another user pointed this out, and I texted my dad to call me when he has a chance so I can tell him. Yes. You're gonna get a whole lot of people telling you that you have every right to call the cops, and it will be true, but you have to consider who is really going to bear the brunt of the consequences for this. And that's probably going to be your dad. The guy who has worked so hard to provide for you, and who gave you the watch in the first place. Even though he won't be the one deported, it'll be a big disruption in his life. There will probably be legal issues that will take time and money to deal with, etc. etc. For your dad's sake, let the watch go, cut your mom off entirely, and hide your key in a less dumb place. Dude, from one child of immigrants to another, don't do that to them. I definitely understand how frustrating it can be knowing they deal with things in a different approach than what would be considered normal. They don't seem to have friends or other family members to rely on. Your mom, the narcissist that she is, exactly what my mom is, so I get that, Doesn't know how to properly communicate with you, aside from how she was raised. You could have easily been born south of the border had they not made the sacrifices for you so that you can have your own home that your mom did break into. Not to say it was right on her part to do that, but she probably doesn't know how to appropriately approach this. She stole the stuff probably because in her mind, she has a right to your property because you're her son. Again, not saying it's right, but you gotta understand her mindset and culture. And she probably took the things, because their finances are in jeopardy, thus the first sentence of this bullet point. People who don't have immigrants as parents will quickly jump on the call the cops wave, but you have to be a little more understanding towards them. You don't have to take them in indefinitely. They definitely do suck, or at least your mom does, but your dad doesn't have anyone else but you and her. Don't do that to them. Help out a little so that you can get away from them quicker. I cannot believe what I'm reading here. This is beyond ridiculous, saying the abuser should get a full pass because their secondary victims might possibly suffer. Even though he won't be the one deported, it'll be a big disruption in his life. There will probably be legal issues that will take time and money to deal with, etc. etc. First of all, good. This guy sounds way too kind-hearted to be stuck with a narcissistic thief for a partner. If he really can't live without her, he could always consider moving back with her, but frankly, even if it's hard at first, I think he'll be far better off in the long run. He was a breadwinner and a very strong person once. I can't imagine getting hair as a teen was easy. I suspect he could do it again, particularly now that's established in the US there are resources to help with immigrants facing deportation, and while it will take time, I think you are underestimating the resources available to people in his situation. Secondly, she broke the law. She knew the contingencies of her citizenship, and yet she still decided to commit a crime on the hopes that her son wouldn't turn her in. And before anyone says, but she's family, let me remind you, if she'll break in and steal from her own son's home, who won't she steal from? How many other relatives and friends does she have that she feels entitled to take from, without even telling them or asking permission first? Someone who breaks laws this casually is not going to suddenly feel remorse and turn over a new leaf. She's a manipulator extraordinaire. Lastly, if she truly needed money, why didn't she just ask Cop in a written letter, text message, by phone? Why does she feel it's perfectly fine to violate his privacy, and her citizenship agreement, and suffer no legal consequences? There were multiple other options here, and she just went with the most inappropriate and illegal one because… what? She knew Op wouldn't talk to her otherwise? Well then, that just proves that she definitely knew she was stomping all over the boundaries he set years ago. Call me a BTCH or whatever, but I have no sympathy for this woman, and quite frankly, it'd be nice if she got deported so that Op could offer his full emotional, and possibly financial, support to his aging father without worrying about her benefiting as well. TL, doctor, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, a free trip down south, in this case. Wow, that's very tough. I'd say the crime doesn't quite match the punishment, but then again it sounds like she's been causing issues for you your entire life. Perhaps instead of immediately taking the nuclear option, you could warn her first, return the watch and never contact me again, or I'm calling the cops. Also, something to keep in mind is that this may impact your father as well, who it seems like you don't have an issue with. NTA so long as you give her a warning. That's what I was thinking. Father sounds innocent in this situation. If they find out about her past they will find out about his, too. I'd imagine that'd mean he would be deported. Would suck for that to happen to someone who sounds important and helpful in Poster's life. His father wouldn't be deported, what? They're both here legally, but if one of them commits a crime then that person is likely to be deported. Listen. Narc parents make your entire life hell. You've mentioned therapy, you've mentioned a total lack of respect, she broke into your house, doesn't matter if she used a damn key, she stole property, a graduation gift, for God's sake. Forget this nuclear option garbage people are saying. She's been digging her proverbial grave for the entire time she's been raising you. You don't have to tell the police she's not here legally, but quite frankly, I know of many people who would give their kidney to get their narc parent out of their life, and into another country. Obviously, anti-A. Report that crap. Stand up for yourself. At the end of the day, you can honestly say, hey, I didn't mention her immigration status to the police. Op's parents are legally in the U.S. It's only Op's course of action that would get his mother's right to be in the country revoked by charging her with a crime. Only in that case would she possibly be deported. Thanks for listening so far. If story have update we will post here. Like and subscribe to our channel for upcoming stories.